Hey, what's going on guys, it's Chum here, and today I'm bringing you another Star Wars Battlefront update video. This time of course for the February update that just came out a couple days ago. So to kick this off, we'll talk about the things that changed throughout the whole game. So things like new content and just, general functionality stuff. So the biggest thing that I think is really awesome is they added a new multiplayer map. So that's the Twilight map on Hoth, and it's effectively a Dusk Hoth map, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So if you haven't played that yet, go check it out, it's completely free. Another thing they've added is they've added the map Ice Caves, which was previously in the Small Games playlist, and it is now as a survival map. We've actually already tested out this survival map on our channel, so if you want to go check that out, check the video in the top right hand corner, and it'll open up a new tab for you, so you can jump back to this once you're done. Another thing they've done is they've actually added the Tatooine, Endor, and Sullust Supremacy / Walker Assault maps into the Turning Point playlist. Initially, Turning Point was kind of a turn off, because it only had one map. Now it's been updated that it has, of course, I believe the new Twilight map, as well as the old Walker Assault and Supremacy map. So that's great. A lot more versatility is now in the Turning Point game mode. And then finally, a functionality thing, what they have done is they've added some minor changes to the sound and video settings. Nothing you would really notice, but it's there for you. Now let's move on to what is arguably the most important part about this, and that's the weapon changes. So the biggest thing is that they've changed the damage that primary weapons will do to vehicles, and they've increased it by 10%. So this is probably because I guess the ATST was too buff, or maybe because it's hard to shoot out air vehicles from the sky, who knows. Regardless, they've done that, it's going to be great. Ground people are a little more powerful now, which is fun. I'm not sure how much this will change the AT-ATs though, because that's a big game balance thing. Next up, they actually buffed the bowcaster. Now in the previous update video I mentioned that it seemed like they nerfed the bowcaster to oblivion and made it almost useless. Clearly they've noticed the error in their ways and they have decided to fix that. So what they've done is, first of all, they've changed the explosive damage, so now instead of doing 10 damage it does 15. However, they've reduced the explosive range from 3 to 2.5 meters. Additionally, they've also changed the damage on the direct shots from the bowcaster. If you're fully charged, they've buffed it from 30 to 40, and if you're not fully charged, they've buffed it from 20 to 30. So now this thing will do a lot more damage, and it'll actually be usable again. In fact, I can't imagine it was too overpowered to begin with, but now hopefully the bowcaster will be something that's enjoyable rather than pointless. Another star card they've changed is the barrage. The barrage's damage has been buffed a little bit from 50 to 55, and the cooldown for this has been reduced from 40 to 35 unupgraded, and 35 to 30 upgraded. Additionally, the barrage no longer despawns if fired again due to the refresh pickup. And previously, if you fired some grenades and then refreshed and fired some more, the first set of nades would actually despawn and not explode, which obviously is not what you want. Moving on to another star card that I'm kind of wishing they didn't change anymore, but that's the homing shot. They've actually reduced the lock-on time, so now it's gone down from 1.5 seconds to 1.2 seconds. It's right that this was kind of a problem, that it was really useless, but I was kind of happy about that. Also, additionally, for the homing shot, they've actually added the lock-on message for people who are in the turrets, because previously that did not show up. Moving on, we have the ion torpedo. They've had the movement speed buffed from 350 meters per second to 380, as well as the turn radius increase from 120 to 125. Now, they say this is done to allow these ion torpedoes to be better at taking down air vehicles. We'll see how that plays out, I guess. Moving on to some other star cards, we have the pulse rifle. What they've done with the pulse rifle is they've actually reduced the movement speed when you're aiming down sight. I guess this is to make it a little bit harder to, peek out of cover and shoot, as well as, avoid getting shot at while you're shooting at someone. It's fair because the pulse rifle is very powerful, especially on Jakku. Now another star card they've actually buffed the cycler rifle. For the movement speed, they've buffed it by 40% while ADS, which is great. This star card was pretty difficult to use, and now I guess you're going to be a little more mobile while you're using it. And they've also increased the bullet speed by an insane amount. It went from 300 meters per second to 450 meters per second. And that, coupled with the bullet drop buff they gave it to make it more streamlined as it flew in the previous update, I mean, this thing is definitely a force to be reckoned with compared to the version that we had when the game first released. And finally, for a power up, we have the orbital strike, which will no longer fail to register when you click it. I'm not sure if any of you noticed, but I definitely did. When you were trying to fire your orbital strike, you'd aim down sight, you'd click, you'd fire, whatever you want to call it, and it wouldn't go. And you had to sit there spamming it for a little while before it went, and that was annoying. Apparently now they fixed it. Now let's move on to vehicles. So one of the biggest changes they've done is they've actually made the A-Wing's hitbox a little bit bigger, which is very important because the A-Wing was always so overpowered in Fighter Squadron. Honestly, if you're in any kind of TIE fighter, whether the actual fighter or the interceptor, you are doing nothing to A-Wings. You get in the sky, you try to shoot one down, it's almost impossible to hit, it pops a shield and its friend kills you every single time. Not fun time, hopefully we'll be able to do a little better against it. And also what they've done to this thing is they've actually made it so that the A-Wing will take proper damage when crashing into an AT-ST with a shield. Now I'm assuming previously people would suicide with an AT-STs while in an A-Wing and pop a shield so they would live. I'm assuming that they've changed it so now that you will actually die. Which is kind of fair. I can't imagine it being fair if someone pops a shield and just, they suicide into someone effectively and not die themselves. Next up, what they've done is for the Slave 1, they've made it so that it's able to see the shield icon when an enemy ship is shielded. Apparently this was not there before, however now it is, of course a great thing, you want to have all the information you can. Next up, the AT-ST will receive kill credit for torpedo kills on airspeeders while shooting other types of weaponry. Previously, if you were to hit an airspeeder with your missile while using your other weapons, it would count as a suicide for the airspeeder and you wouldn't actually get points. So now, you will get points, great. For the AT-AT, they fixed the lack of the reticle when using the orbital strike. I don't know about you, but many times I've noticed I switch to the orbital strike in an AT-AT and there's nothing there, or nothing to guide where I'm shooting and I just have to guess. And obviously it's not a fun time. And finally, for the vehicle changes, the airspeeder will no longer be told it's out of bounds when you progress in turning point. So of course the actual play area will change, and if you're in the wrong place it will say out of bounds. And that's not a good thing. You want to be able to not get killed because you're in the wrong place, when it's not really the wrong place. Now let's move on to some other fun stuff, so the heroes. So first of all, we have Leia's new outfit. So previously she used to rock her Hoth outfit from episode 5. Now, when on Endor, she'll be rocking her jungly outfit that she wore in Return of the Jedi, which is really awesome. They've made it really well and it looks great. Additionally for Leia, what they've done is they've actually changed her Trooper Bane. So the Trooper Bane will no longer knock back enemies that weren't directly hit by the blast, which is kind of fair. The AoE on that was a bit of too much damage. Moving on to Luke, they've actually buffed his Saber Rush damage from 2% up to 6 to 8% when used against heroes, which is quite surprising. In all my time doing hero battles, which we've done a lot of on the channel, I have never noticed Saber Rush to be a very weak attack. In fact, I can't imagine it being almost 4 times stronger, but hey, it's what they want, they do what they want, right? Another thing they've done to Luke is they've changed his swing range. So that's gone down from 0.3 meters to 0.25 meters. And it kind of seems really small that he swings his meter long stick and only does damage within 0.3 meters. Maybe that's a typo, maybe it's supposed to say 3 meters. I don't know, but that's what they've said. Next up for Han, they've done a little bug fix where previously when aiming down sight, you would be given the first person reticle, and clearly they've fixed that. I can't say that would be a problem for everyone, but I guess the inconsistency is what they wanted to remove. Now finally, for a specific thing, we have the Emperor's Shock Troopers have actually been buffed. So previously they didn't actually stand up against the Honor Guards from Leia, so now they've been buffed so their damage is on par with the Honor Guard. And finally, for all heroes in general, they will no longer get stuck in stunned animations, say from such things as the Force Push, or from getting hit with Darth Vader's choke. Now moving on, we're going to talk about some game mode changes. So the first and biggest change is definitely the fact that they've changed the pre-round timer. So instead of being 30 seconds, it's been reduced to 20 seconds. Now for Walker Assault, they've also gone and changed the HP for the AT-ATs on every single map. I'm assuming to make this a little bit more fair and find that nice line between Rebels winning and Empire winning. That way the game will be a little more balanced. For Walker Assault, they've also gone and changed the power-up spawn locations on Sullust. Clearly they had a problem with the way things spawned. Hopefully now they're happy with it and it's a little bit better and a little bit more balanced for both sides. Beyond that, they've also done a couple of minor bug fixes on Walker Assault, which aren't really that big of a deal. Droid Run also received similar fixes in terms of spawns and other minor things. Supremacy again has also received improved spawns on all maps. Heroes vs Villains has had a pretty big change, in which items that you place down, such as turrets, wouldn't actually be left on the map after the round changes, which is a very big deal, because each round is meant to be in its own game itself. If you can set up a turret that stays there for the whole time, it's not very fair, is it? And finally, Fighter Squadron spawn protection has been added in Graveyard of Giants. I never played the map personally, but I can imagine getting killed as you spawn in is not a fun time. Moving on to missions, they've made it so that charge pickups throughout the map will always appear, even if one of the players is using a star card hand that doesn't contain a charge card. Additionally, they've also changed it so player 2's control settings in split screen will not affect the control settings of player 1. They've made overall fixes to the spawns in battle mode on Tatooine. And finally, they've added some minor bug fixes to survival, as well as a trophy fix to make it so that way if you don't actually spend a life by respawning mid-round, you'll still be able to get it so that you completed hard mode without spending a life. So simply wait till the next round and respawn without actually using the life, you'll still get the trophy. And finally, for general fixes, of course, there's just been some graphical fixes. They've actually changed it so the control schemes are better defined. Scan Pulse will now show enemies in the colorblind assist colors instead of just red. They've added some PC control fixes in terms of using an Xbox controller and stuff like that. And for the actual final piece of information in this update, they have added some trophy fixes. And one of these fixes also includes the playing the objective trophy on the game mode blast. Previously they said they fixed this, and through my testing they did not. I have not yet received the trophy despite completing its requirements. However, now of course I'll try that again and see what happens. Either way guys, that brings us to the end of this update video for Star Wars Battlefront. There was some information that I kind of bundled together and didn't really go through with you guys because it didn't seem very important, and it seemed like things that you either wouldn't understand or wouldn't care to know as a player. However, if you would like to read more about this and actually get every single piece of information, I'll leave a link to the patch notes that you can find on the Star Wars EA website, which is excellent. You can read through it all and always understand, especially. And also, if you follow it, you're able to read these things as they come out. You don't need to wait for the video, but of course, if you don't understand things, I'll always explain them here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learned a little something and are ready to take to the Battlefront once again and kick some ass. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.